What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are back for the career mode journey, episode number 39 for the British Grand Prix. Episode 39. This game's been out for like 5 months. 5 months, and I'm on episode 39. My manager series is catching up rapidly to this, so we need to change that. We need to romp through this season, hopefully challenge for the title, and if not, steal it in the next season. But yeah, welcome back, guys. Welcome to the British Grand Prix. My team episodes, we're going to favor some extra experience for our driver. I don't imagine we're going to be doing any aero upgrades. I think we're pretty much maxed out on the aero side, so we're absolutely sorted on that. In the way of actual upgrades, can't really do any at the start of this episode. I think we did the majority of them last episode, so go check it out if you haven't seen it already. I think it was the Canadian Grand Prix. We seem to be quite nicely lined up between manager and my team at the moment with some of the races we're doing. And I imagine probably co-op is going to catch up to that as well. In terms of facilities, can only do personnel at this stage. We are getting shafted heavily by, well, my own doing. I've lowered the cash gain throughout the entirety of this series for the last couple of years. Cash doesn't come in very fast. The resource rate is low as well. It's very high for the AI, as is the cash rate. This is the ultimate challenge on the F1 22 game. The authentic experience of trying to bring a brand new, back market team to the front of the field. I think the normal setting that Codemasters give you is too easy. So we like a challenge over here. Anyway, our tire upgrade has failed, so we're going to have to redo that again. That's going to take a good amount of time to actually get on the car, though, just before the French Grand Prix. So we'll get some resource points in for Friday practice, get some discounts going, and then I think we'll do some upgrades at the midway point of this episode, kind of like we did last episode. Anyway, we might have some rain for qualifying. It says there's a chance for showers. So, got to keep an eye on that. In terms of upgrades, no real gains for anyone in the field apart from Alpine, the elephant in the room. They have absolutely shot up in performance, above Ferrari now, so they are going to be a dark horse. The combination of Ocon and Magnussen is one that, you know, we shouldn't underestimate. They've been a dark horse even in last season, and especially heading into this season. So, yeah, look out for the odd race win or two, depending on how their development goes for the rest of the season. They could even emerge as title favorites. But, yeah, practice, one and done. No real issues emerging out of that. We got all of our stuff that we needed to do. And now we're going to do some upgrades. So, we've pretty much done everything on the not the chassis side, the aero side. We're just shoring up some things on the chassis side. It's probably my favorite department to do. I love my weight reduction upgrades. We've maxed out those, and I love my tire upgrades. The final one now going on this car. We've got an ERS upgrade coming in 2 days' time. However, that's not going to make it in time for this race. Time for qualifying, though, for the British Grand Prix. I might do brakes next. In terms of upgrades, I am slightly worried. I'm getting like Vietnam flashbacks to 2020 and 2021. When you do a certain amount of brake upgrades, I think it's over 2. The brakes lock up all the time, and the performance goes a bit funny, and you have to knock back the brake pressure like 20% just to have normal braking capacity. Let's hope that's not a thing on this game, but I wouldn't put it past the developers. We've seen more than our fair share of glitches on this game, so yeah, we'll wait and see. But I think in terms of upgrades, we're probably most likely going to do an engine power upgrade. We're missing a bit of that. An ERS upgrade, fuel efficiency. The engine side is probably the weakest department in our entire team at the moment, but we've gone through practice, we've gone through qualifying now, qualifying 1 at least, P6, 4/10 off, not too bad. Mark Webber is a little bit slow for my liking, at least compared to us. I think oh my word, that oversteer moment on our second lap in Q2 was super scary. Here's some replays. We were going full send at this point on used tyres. I couldn't believe the amount of grip I was getting. And yeah, sure enough, it turned out to be, too good to be true. Nearly binned it there. Had a nice oversteer moment. I kept the throttle pinned and just caught it with the oversteer, and we pressed on to set a 26.1. That's about 4/10 slower than what we managed in Q1. But that's absolutely fine. But what I was going to say is you guys have probably noticed the increase in form, how much smoother my driving is lately. I've been on the game a little bit more. I haven't been traveling as much, and the game has just been coming a lot nicer to me. I say that. And we go and bin it. The second qualifying lap run is still consistent with me. We just can't do a second push lap, it seems. But anyway, here I'm doing something very silly, and I wanted to see if I could get DRS open in reverse. And funny thing with the coding here is Piastri, because he's not on a lap, he's sacrificing his whole qualifying session here just to let me go. So I thought, okay, I'll just keep with this because I'm not on a lap. The track is very empty. Let's see how long we can get away with this for. So we're reversing back to the pit lane, and this just shows how ridiculous it is with the AI getting in your way and not wanting to overtake you when they're not on a lap. We've made contact, which is not ideal. Piastri's lost a bit of his wing, and he's ahead, and he's still trying to let me go despite me going 95 kilometers an hour. Surely the madness is going to end. This is the most realistic piece of realism on my career mode ever. We brush against the wall, and well, we get a double puncture. So time to put an end to the shenanigans. I think that's ridiculous. Opening DRS in reverse, Piastri not letting me go. We're safe just about into Q3, I think, and this is just a bit stupid now. I've had a spin on the curb, and from here we just got stuck. I couldn't get any purchase, I couldn't get any traction. Double puncture, of course, and so I had to get the old return to garage to bail me out of trouble. So the less said about that, the better, to be honest. But I think we got to go out again. We used the used set of tires from Q1. Annoyingly, I keep making mistakes with the tire allocation. We've got a set of hards to use in qualifying, which I'm not going to use. So we only have one set of soft compound tires to get us through this session, but also Q3. At least initially. If we do make it into Q3, we will get a bonus set of soft compound tires, but it's not exactly ideal, especially if we're not quite on the pace. Thankfully, this weekend we are, compared to a Silverstone race. But if we were lacking another couple of tenths, then getting through to Q3 with only 2 sets of tyres would have been a real struggle. Anyway, we're half a second up on our previous best. This is a brand new set of tyres versus a used set. I've had a little play around with the tyre pressures as well. I'm testing some theories as to whether high tyre pressures on the rear is better for an upgraded car versus, I think when you start off the career mode, you want to be, or running an online car, you want to have like mid or low tyre pressures on the rear. I think it's really just track dependent really, but this is, I think, high tyre pressures, and it seems to be working out quite well. 9 tenths, make that a second as we approach the Club Vale section out of the last corner, and this should just about see us through to qualifying 3. I'm sorry about all the shenanigans there, but in the end, it doesn't matter. We get P2. Webber follows us through nicely into Q3. Some 6 tenths away from us. Again, that's quite the large gap, it must be said. But like I was trying to allude to earlier, I feel like I've upped my pace on the game lately. So I think that's a Webber problem. I think we've just upped our game and Webber hasn't been able to kind of run with us. So potentially, if Webber continues to show this kind of deficit, then maybe we need to think about our options going forward. We'll have to wait and see on that one, but Webber so far has been pretty good. Just the last couple of races, as we've upped our game, he hasn't been able to run with us, so it's an interesting one. For Webber as well, Silverstone is one of his best circuits. He's got a couple of wins around here, so if he's going to be on form anywhere, it is going to be here. Anyway, Q3 is well underway. This is final lap in qualifying. With the brand new bonus set of soft compound tyres we got given for this session. Just having a look at tyre temperatures. I was testing tyre pressures, like I said. moving it up, moving it down, moving it in the middle, going all over the place, and it looks like it hasn't worked on this lap. That is a bottle from Tiametmarduk, and I've got to say, it actually wasn't quite my fault, as much as you'd think to believe. Watch the curbing on the right-hand side here. Actually, we'll have to have another replay and show you in third-person view, because it doesn't quite tell the full story. That curb right there, the bit of red sausage has gripped on the right rear tyre, and there's been a bit of slip angle there. We've slid the rear end, so the car was unstable while we were turning right, and then when we went for the direction change to go left, the tyres are far too hot and couldn't withstand that tyre load. So that was game over, really, and we end up in P9 in this qualifying session. The times in Q3 significantly slower than what they were in Q2. Just thought I'd mention, I think we did 25 flats in Q2. The AI, apart from P1, some half a second away from that, and that's consistent with the last race we did, where AI were beast in Q1 and Q2, and then Q3 they're kind of bottled. But, you know, in Q3, I bottled even harder. So it's P9 for the start of this race. Webber is up there, P3. I will absolutely take that. This is a round where, you know, he's under pressure a little bit and he needs to deliver. So he needs a good result heading into the midway point of the season, because we do have contract negotiations inbound. Time for the British Grand Prix. Wish me luck.
Great Britain then, one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every year of the Formula One World Championship. And that record extends further for today's Grand Prix. It's just about time to go down to the track for the beginning of the race, but before we do, Anthony Davidson, what types of strategy do you think we can expect for today's event?
Well, there's a lot that both the driver and the team have to keep in mind when going into a race. The tyres, fuel, energy recovery systems, the list goes on and on. But I think the key to today's victory will come down to the pit stop strategy. Come in too soon and you might find yourself needing more than one stop. Too late and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by spending longer on worn tyres.
All right, it is race time for the British Grand Prix. Welcome to the grid. No real changes up and down the field, apart from, I think, Pierre Gasly. Don't quote me on it. I think he is starting dead last in this race. The only person to take a grid penalty in this race. So, British Grand Prix, as you guys know, if you've seen a few career modes over the years, you know this is a penciled in one stop. There's no real strategy to do. 2 stop never works. This is the longest transit time through a pit lane on the entire calendar, and we don't even have the tyres to really go aggressive here on the soft. The best softs we have are like 70-odd%, thanks to all the runs we did, plus the puncture. One less set of tyres to use in the race. So it's not ideal. We have to go medium hard in this race, unless there's some kind of late safety car. Leaders are trapped on hards. I'm not too sure. But there's quite a few people actually using the soft in this race. We, however, just don't have that luxury. We've abused our tyres far too much, the softs at least, to even think about touching the softs in this one. So medium hard it's going to be. Hopefully the tyre wear is okay.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres. Cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. But the question I'm asking is, which teams have got it right, which ones have got it horribly wrong?
Absolutely no one is going to get it horribly wrong here, Crofty. No one's going to be adventurous. No one's going to do anything crazy. It's pretty much going to be a glorified sprint race, this one, the British Grand Prix. Slipstream is absolutely key, staying in the DRS of cars ahead. A little bit difficult to overtake with dirty air, but we'll see what we can do with our medium compound tyres. 5 red lights, and we are underway with the British Grand Prix for Season 3. Can we do anything against the big boys in this season of career mode? Through turn 1, getting overtaken by the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. Robert Schwartzman down the order a little bit there in P12. Our championship leader, of course, Ocon, with a massive dive bomb at the inside of a Red Bull. Verstappen, Norris, and Alonso tries to get around the outside of him. For the Alpine driver, it looks like it's going to pay off. Bit of contact with Verstappen, it must be said. Hopefully no front wing damage on that front as we assert our dominance on the Dutch driver. and make our way up to P8. Really good start from Ocon, it must be said. And that Alpine, I said to you guys, watch out for Alpine. They're going to be a dark horse this season. Magnussen now slides his way into the top 10. Honorable mention as well in qualifying, didn't mention it. Yuki Tsunoda started P4 in this race. That's got to be a glitch. An AI time simulator glitch. That was some front wing damage on the left-hand upright. I think that contact with Verstappen has actually resulted in some front wing damage. The damage indicator actually didn't pop up at the time of contact with Verstappen, and that massive understeer moment through the old turn 1 is the telltale sign of front wing damage. And to be honest, when I was actually recording this, I didn't catch that. I wasn't eagle-eyed enough at the time to catch that. Alonso and Tsunoda making contact at Brooklands, heading into Luffields. Alonso is surely going to have the advantage here, but yeah, I didn't even notice for the first maybe 3 or 4 laps that we had front wing damage. I noticed the car was understeery, like the balance was quite a bit different to qualifying, but you kind of expect that with a full load of fuel on board. But yeah, I didn't realize quite how bad it was until we probably got in a bit of free air. But yeah, massive train here. I was a little bit distracted. I was more focused on the performance and the characteristics of other cars in front of me to really think about my own at this point. I noticed we were moving forward, which is, you know, better than nothing, I guess. You can see that's the first evidence of massive understeer in clear air. We get up the inside of Norris here, trying to defend. He has the inside for the next right-hander. A little bit too much rotation as we got on the power quite early there. And we take P5 in this race. Ocon 2.5 seconds out the road with Hamilton also on the soft compound tyres as well. Those guys stopping early.
Okay, be careful with the front wing. You've taken some minor damage. No tyre concerns at the moment. Just focus on the driving.
Yeah, now we've finally noticed. Hence why we queried with Mark to make sure the car was okay. It is not. So we're going to have to get that changed in the pit stop. But yeah, like I was going to say, those guys on the soft are going to be stopping early. And I imagine emerging into quite a bit of traffic. We still go purple to the first sector, which was, yeah, quite confusing. We are very fast, despite having the front wing damage. And there it is again, in greater detail. The front tyre is really wearing quite a bit. And I think that's not helped by the fact that we've got front wing damage. One thing I will say is I was probably turning the wheel more, scrubbing the fronts, and inducing even more front tyre wear, which was not amazing because we just had to do something to get some rotation out of the car, and that was definitely a symptom of the damage so far. But yeah, we're trying to push on as best we can. This is Ocon attacking Webber. Webber makes a massive mistake from P2, P3 on the grid, and yeah, that's unforgivable really. Drops a few seconds. He now drops into the realms of Lewis Hamilton. Another replay of the massive lockup, and now you can see we are pretty much with that battle. We're in the DRS, we're in the slipstream of that, and Webber is potentially going to get overtaken by this group of cars, including Norris, Alonso, maybe even the people behind him in the coming laps. But yeah, side by side for Hamilton and Webber as they come out of the exit of turn 1 through Magnus Beckett's and Chappell. Just wondering whether there's a problem with Webber's car. He does seem to be going quite slowly all of a sudden. You can see Hamilton going up the inside into Stowe. Contact made. Hopefully no damage for our Marduk Motorsport teammates. Powered by Porsche, of course. Through the last couple of corners. Short shift in 5th gear. Hamilton, not a great exit. Had to kind of lift off the throttle to avoid contact. And now it's put us under pressure from Norris, who goes up the inside. I didn't want to use ERS here. Norris up the inside and nearly, very nearly pulls off the move for P5 in this British Grand Prix. I'm trying to save my ERS because I know it's going to be hard to break this stranglehold, this DRS train that we're in at the moment. I want to save it for the 2 DRS straights. I don't want to be using it trying to defend from people attacking me behind. But now Webber gets a bit of a reprieve. Hamilton made a minor mistake last lap, and now hopefully we can put a move on him. Nearly gyrated at turn 3 there. Thankfully that's not the case. Webber breaking away, but I'm not sure he's got the pace to really hold on with that. Maybe it's a case of Hamilton's tyres dying off a little bit now. They've probably seen their best. It's probably the crossover between the soft and the medium. But even still, Webber's pace isn't amazing. Someone's pace who is amazing is Fernando Alonso, who came out of nowhere through the S's section with all the downforce in the world in that McLaren, arguably one of the best cars in this field, and he just dances around me like I'm not even moving, despite the dirty air. That is absolutely nuts from Alonso, and we fight back straight away with our superior straight line speed. I think I've messed up a little bit with the downforce level in this race, guys. I think I've gone 25-18, 25-17. Upon reflection, I probably should have gone up by 3 or 4 clicks on both the front and rear, because we have such a straight line speed advantage, but we are losing a lot in the corners. And that was even before the front wing damage. I noticed this even qualifying. But with the front wing damage, it's not great, it must be said. Defending very hard against Alonso. It allows Webber to get away. Hamilton boxed on the last lap. An early undercut onto the hard compound tyres. Here comes Alonso up the inside, and he just drifts wide into our line and has lost a bit of his wing. Crucial in the context of this championship. Alonso needs to be winning races. Alonso needs to be on the podium every race. Schwartzman is running away with his championship in that team, and another setback like that is the last thing the Spaniard needed. But anyway, into the pit lane we go. We're going for an early stop here on the medium compound tyres. Ideally, I would have loved to have extended the mediums as far as they could go. I'm not sure the hard is going to be the great race tyre, but with the time we were losing with the front wing, just had to come in early, go onto the hards, and hopefully we'll be able to make it up later. We're just better pace, really. We're going to lose about 5 seconds here, but you know, we were fairly quick, even with the damage. I think with a clean car, hopefully we'll be right up there. And Alonso also changing his wing. I'm not too sure what Perez was doing, because he actually only just rejoins ahead of us, and it's all pretty much even Steven. So Perez has come out of nowhere, maybe, to be in this fight. But overall, to our rivals, I guess we haven't lost too much, apart from, say, yeah, Magnussen and Perez. But they're going to tow us along. Magnussen, I'm pretty confident, is going to have pretty good pace, so he's not going to hold us up, really. It's a chance for us to save a bit of fuel to, oh my words, get an idea of what the balance is going to be. But those tyres are ice cold. Absolutely ice cold. We nearly spun out of the pit lane, which was not ideal, but it's going to take us about half a lap to properly get up to temperature. And this is going to mean we're quite vulnerable to Alonso for the next 30 seconds or so. Charles Leclerc sets the fast start of the Grand Prix, absolutely beasting this race up front in the Red Bull. Ideally, yeah, I do want to be weaving on the straights to warm up the tyres, but I don't really have the margin. I don't have the gap to Alonso. I don't have the comfort to do that. So the temperature coming up is really taking its time. You can see the understeer through the high speed. Alonso had to completely lift off there.
Tyre condition still looking good.
To not make contact. Thankfully, he didn't overtake us this time. But now a lap later, I think the tyres are finally ready to boogie, and we're going to set off in this race. So yellow flag in the third sector. And this is why we got Piastri and one of the Alfa Romeos having a bit of a tiff heading into the pit lane. One of them wanted to go on the racetrack. The other one wanted to go in the pit lane. And neither of them wanted to back out, really. It's an awkward situation. Oh, my words! The other Alfa Romeo of, I don't even know who that is. It's they've run into the back of Zhou. And they're the ones who are out of the Grand Prix. It's, I think that's Ricciardo. Ricciardo's in the other Alfa Romeo. Took me a minute to remember who was racing for that team, but it's a safety car scenario, and that actually is going to save our bacon in this race. Yes, it's going to help our teammate and the likes of Hamilton, Leclerc, who hadn't stopped yet. No, Hamilton did stop. Hamilton did stop as we give a bit of a flyby to the safety car, Top Gun style. Yeah, it's going to help those guys because they're going to have fresher tyres. They're going to maintain their track position. Norris actually jumps my teammate Webber in the pit lane. So Norris is now effectively P2 in this race. And it should be Webber on the podium. So overall, I feel like everyone wins in this race apart from Hamilton. Unlucky. 5-second penalty for you there, son. Let's have a look at the race director and see what that was about. So he's actually made contact with Tictum. Okay, that's strange. But yeah, apart from Hamilton, everyone is winning in this race. The race leaders have got fresher tyres. I've now got a full complement of front wing again, but I can rejoin on the back of the queue with no gaps, and we can really attack for the remainder of this race. We don't have to use the tyre to catch up to these guys. They're now in our vicinity, and we can...
Okay, let's get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember, there's no overtaking until the timing line. Safety car in this lap.
Like I was saying, we can just go full attack and not have to use the tyre to get there. So this is a chance for us to really salvage our race. However, we have a lot of cars to overtake. Magnussen, Perez, Schwartzman, Norris, Webber, Leclerc, Verstappen. Everyone is an enemy in this race. And hopefully we have the speed to really do something about it. I didn't change my front wing in the stop. Actually, no, I did change my front wing by one click. We've gone to 26 on the front. So hopefully that can give us a little bit more rotation, a little bit more purchase. And yeah, we can do something in this race because the hard tyres will induce a little bit more understeer compared to the medium, which we were on. We can see Piastri is boxing. And that's one less position for us in this race.
He's at it again!
Safety car's out. We need you to reduce your pace. It looks like there's a high amount of debris on the...
It's happened again. There's another incident into this Club and Vale section. Is anyone wanting to go in the pit lane? No, there's no one. Ocon has thrown away his partaking in this race. But I think he got a bit of a helping hand. I think it was Hamilton behind in the Mercedes, which has escorted him into the AlphaTauri, and the front end of that car, the suspension geometry has just exploded. That is nuts. Safety car has been deployed. We are now fuel burning. That Alpine, yes, it's quick, but it's a bit of a glass cannon, it seems. Unlike that Mercedes, which is an absolute tank. Those things never get terminal damage, even in real life, which is quite crazy to see. But we have another safety car scenario. A P8 in this race. We're a little bit closer to the front of the field. Our tyre wear is still not great, it must be said. We're still getting way more wear on the fronts than what we are on the rear. It's just those high-speed corners. We are going quite quick into them. It's what you would expect with a fully upgraded or near fully upgraded career mode car. But yeah, we could have really done with that ultimate tyre upgrade heading into this race. But alas, it is what it is. 4 laps remaining in this British Grand Prix. Can we salvage a top 4, a top 3 out of this race? We're going to have to get on the pace very quickly. A massive mistake from Webber, who just gives a free kick to Verstappen, and the McLaren of Schwartzman round the outside for those guys. And Webber goes from a comfortable podium to now P5, and he's going to have Sainz and Magnussen attacking him pretty much straight away. So yeah, again, Webber bottling it in this race. It's not the first time he's made a mistake. And, you know, this is big points. This is his big chance. Bit of contact with Alonso in the Luffield section. And he gets up the inside into 8th place. It's all kicking off in this British Grand Prix. Webber's going to get overtaken by Magnussen. We're going to hit back Alonso straight away with some overtake with the ERS. And he's potentially going to stick the nose in there. Thankfully, he backs out. Had to use a bit more battery to really secure that position. But, yeah, not ideal. This is the race where everything was going right for Webber. Qualified well, started well compared to his teammate, and now Webber, after all that, is behind us in this race. That could well be deciding for his future in Formula One with this team at least. Here goes Alonso around the outside. At this point, I'm questioning whether there's a performance issue with Webber's car. I did ask the engineer, I asked Mark what was going on. Literally said nothing, so seems like it might be a skill issue.
Teammate by 1.5 seconds. Okay, they're on fresh hards. Your last lap time was a 1:32.6.
And there you go. There's the audio. No mention of a car issue. No mention of damage. Skill issue for Mark Webber. And now he's dropping outside of the points. Look at the train. He's now behind an Aston Martin. No words. I have absolutely no words. My teammate was in second, absolutely chilling, and now he's out of the points. Up the inside we go of Magnussen, and Sainz closing the door right at the last second in that Ferrari. Here's the replay. Did a nice little move. We had a good run through this section, and Sainz is just like, nah, you can get in the absolute bin here. We try and go up into overtake. We've got some DRS on this straight. It's going to be side by side for the two of us. And I think Sainz has got a little bit of left-hand upright damage on that end plate. A bit of karma, really, because we were entitled to a bit of space there. The AI have been a bit cheeky with that on this game. But yeah, especially lately, the AI just don't give a crap unless you're pretty much ahead. So here's the replay. We danced around the outside of the Alpine. Everyone was going quite conservative into here, so took my chance. I was basically alongside that Ferrari. It's not like I had only my nose alongside. The whole car was there. Should have known I was there, but he just turned in. Either he didn't want to give up the position, or he just didn't see me, frankly. But not ideal. Anyway, Magnussen overtakes Sainz. We're up into P5. Verstappen is next. We've got 3 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. Even with the DRS for Verstappen, he doesn't have the straight line speed that we do with our low drag setup around the outside, heading into Stowe. And even with the low drag, we still have the aero in the corners to do some serious damage in this race. Latifi is out of the Grand Prix. Hopefully not another safety car in this British Grand Prix. We need the time. We need the green flag laps to get on the podium here, because we are now in 4th place. Now, it's not every day you pull the pants down to Max Verstappen like that. That is simply embarrassing for the Red Bull driver, and embarrassing for Williams, who are now out of this Grand Prix. No points for those guys today. Just having a wretched season and unable to fight their way back into it. I think they need a change of leadership. They need a Benjamin Daly managing their team. If only there was a career mode for that. Anyway, penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. P4 now, 1.1 seconds to Schwartzman. You can see I'm absolutely deleting my battery now to try and get in the DRS. Get within 1 second of the McLaren. I have one final corner cut warning to utilize. We took it there, and now we have to be a good boy for the rest of this race. Not sure it was well utilized. We're just about on the second. We were on the threshold. It was 1 second, 0.000. Midway through Beckett's, but it wasn't enough to get DRS, unfortunately. We're going to have to wait another lap. We're now under a second, but Schwartzman gets a better exit with more ERS usage and puts us in the mud again. 1.1 seconds. There's the detection line. And I think at that point, we're not within a second. We get to this little left-hander, this really slow speed corner. We're now under a second, but it's not enough. It's not enough. No DRS. Battery is in the mud. It looks like it's going to be P4 in this race, despite all the good pace we've shown this weekend. We were P2 and Q2. Didn't qualify where we should have. We got some front wing damage on the first lap. We've been trying to fight our way back into the top positions in this race all weekend, but we're just going to fall short at the final hurdle. Only a sector to go in this race, and Leclerc has been utterly dominant in this race. He's had the pace over the whole field. Norris has been very strong in that Ferrari as well. I think if we qualified there, we could have maybe put these guys under pressure for a win. But Leclerc supreme today for us. Good recovery. P4, 12 points.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Good.
Here we are then, a fantastic British Grand Prix, and what a performance it was from our race winners today. What do you think it was today, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition?
Speechless. Absolutely speechless. That's how good the race was.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here.
So no victory in sight for McLaren then today. Red Bull fights back a little bit in this championship. Good showing from Norris to bounce back after a shaky couple of rounds from him. And I think the championship is well and truly up for grabs between 6, maybe 7 drivers in this series. Let's hope we can fight our way into it as well. We need to build some consistency. We've had some rocky races, some shaky form, and even more shaky reliability, it seems. My teammate Webber doesn't even finish inside the top 10 despite qualifying in the top 3. The pace just absolutely fell away in those final 10 laps, whatever it was. His pace was awful. 17th in this British Grand Prix. As easy it would be to slag him off, I don't think, surely that can't be a skill issue. He was 2/10 away from being the last person on the lead lap. Something has had to have gone on there, and Mark just hasn't told me. Maybe Mark needs to be fired and Jeff needs to be brought back. I'm not too sure. Having a look on the race director, there's no warnings for contact for Webber, so it's not damage. Could be floor, could be anything, could be ERS, who knows, gearbox, nursing old components. I really don't know. But we move up to P6 in the driver's standings. Some 42 points away from Robert Schwartzman. Again, another consistent round for him. Top 3 podiums is all he needs. Close in the constructors, though, between Ferrari and McLaren. Red Bull fighting their way back with some momentum. Verstappen's had some shaky rounds. Mercedes moved down by virtue of Red Bull's good rounds. But, yeah, I think it's all to play for. It's a very short championship, and, you know, with developments, it can change very quickly. So let's hope we can get in the fight. We've got some upgrades coming on. ERS, ultimate tire upgrade. I want to do some engine power. So these next 2 to 3 races in this season will be crucial. They'll be telling us to whether we can get in the fight for this championship, both in the drivers. Well, constructors is going to be a real struggle now with Webber's issues. But, you know, we'll never give up. Let me know down in the comments if it's a skill issue for Webber, whether we need to start looking at replacements. He's been fairly solid up until this point. His natural pace stat is quite good. So, a lot of considerations to make, but ultimately, we need to make this car better. We need to be in there with the top 3 guys and just be consistent, really, and results will come. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. The race as a whole, I didn't really discuss it, but I felt like there's some really hard racing out there with Alonso, with Sainz, with Norris, I think it won. Yeah, there it is, right on cue. Yai fought really hard. Probably harder than maybe I've ever seen them before. So it was a nice change of pace. It was very difficult. It was a very gritty race, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed too. I'm not sure what race we have next. It might be the Austrian Grand Prix, although I might be completely wrong on that. Hopefully it is Austria, because I do absolutely love that place. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.